Hello, this is Julie from Bubbleberries Craft. Thank you for joining me today. Today I have a little box tutorial for you, and using the Painted Blooms Designer Series paper, and I've put it with black cardstock. I actually quite like this look, and I kind of took it from the shower gel and body lotion that I'm nestling inside here. Their labels are sort of the pink of the melon mambo and the black. So I thought, well, I'd pick up on that, and this is what I've come up with. So I thought I would show you how to make this today. So to do this, you will need a piece of black cardstock, and this needs to measure 10 1/4 inches by 6 3/4. We can then bring in our scoreboard. Don't worry about any of the sizes, the scorings, etc. As always, there will be a link below. Click on that and that'll take you straight over to my blog, and all the details will be there for you. So starting with your cardstock, with the long side at the top, we need to score at 1 1/2, 4 3/4, 6 1/4, and again at 9 1/2. Turning your cardstock so that the short side is now at the top, we score again at 1 1/2, 4 3/4, and at 6 1/4. And that's all the scoring done. So we can get rid of the scoreboard. Then come along and just burnish the score lines that you've done. This will help to give it a crisper look to your box. I love the DSP that I've got on this box, all the spots. For anybody that joins me on Facebook, you will know that my little lady has been suffering from chicken pox. So this box is kind of taking homage to her this week. Bless her. She's now getting over it, so hopefully she'll be back to nursery very soon. So now that you've burnished all your score lines, we can then cut away all the pieces that we need to. I'm going to do this sort of slowly. At the bottom, I hope you can see this if you can, you have got 2 large boxes and then 3 smaller ones. First thing we need to do is on this side here where you've got the smaller score line, we need to take this box completely away. So just chop that completely out. And then the last 3 score lines at the bottom, just snip up them, but only to this score line that travels across here. There's the last one. Okay. Right. And then on the side at the top, you've got obviously 2 score lines that come across and a thinner area. The side here, we just need to take this completely away. So just following the score lines, chop that out. There we go. And then this very thin part that we have at the top here, we can take that away, but only up to this larger section that we've still got here scored in. So just following your score lines, you can chop this piece completely out. You should be left with that shape. And then we need to come along and just remove this larger area here. And then this is the shape that you will get left with. And then we need to put on our DSP, and for this I've got all my little bits over here. It's over. the areas that we need to put the DSP on are in the larger areas here, and these pieces measure 3 1/8 of an inch by 3 1/8 of an inch, so both of them need to be stuck down. And then we have the side pieces and the top, and these need to measure 3 1/8 of an inch by 1 3/8, and they will get positioned on the either side of the two larger pieces. And then obviously here is going to be your lid, and this piece will just go onto the top there. So I'm just going to quickly whip round now with my snail and stick all of these pieces on. Obviously you'll take your time. Just continue going around and popping these on. That's now all the designer series paper on. Before we start building the box up, obviously on this one you have the window in the centre, so we're going to pop that in now, and to do that I'm using the large oval scallop punch, and this will obviously be the front of your box, this being the lid. So take your punch, pop it into the centre square, just eyeballing it, see where you're happy with, and then punch that out. Don't throw this piece away because we're going to need this for our label. And now we can start building the box up. To do this I'm just going to use snail just for the speed of the video, but I would suggest using some sticky strip or some Tombow or liquid glue. So to start with, just on this tab here, just run your adhesive down, and then bringing that in, bring this side over, get that good squish down, and then that starts building up your box. We can then close down the bottom, so bringing in your sides and then using your glue, oops, just seal that down. Go. Obviously you would put whatever it was that you was going to put inside your box, and then, oh look, I didn't cut this bit here. So you must go along and do your score lines after you've chopped out the bits, so that you can close it down. For the lid you'll have this extra flap which is going to tuck down inside of your box, and I would suggest coming along and just taking a tiny little slither of each side. It just helps with closing the box to give it a nice snug fit. We can then come along and decorate the box, and as you can see on this one I have got a little bow which I have already tied, because I'm not very good at bows, so I've done this off camera so you didn't have to suffer watching me try to tie it. And to stick this on, I'm just using some glue dots onto the back just to make sure that it will adhere down, and I'm placing that up in the corner. And then it's just a little bit of Stampin, and I'm taking the Melon Mambo, obviously because it picks up with the shower gel that I was using, but also with the colour in the DSP. And I'm using, what am I using? The Good Greetings set, which is a Hostess set, and I'm using the Sparkle Sentiment, which I've already got prepared on my block. I'm just using some black ink and just stamping one of them out, and I'm then using my Modern Label punch to punch that out. And then taking a sponge, and I'm just sponging gently around the edges. Okay, and then I'm taking some silver glimmer paper, and I'm using the 1 3/4 inch by 7/8 of an inch oval punch. I'm going to punch one of them out, that to one side, and then using the piece that you cut out for the front of your box onto the black side, and then taking some dimensionals, and I'm just popping a couple onto the back of the glimmer paper and sticking that down into the centre, and then again onto the back of the modern label, popping another couple of dimensionals onto there. And I'm just popping that across the centre and sticking that down. I'm then taking some rhinestones and just popping them either side just to add a little bit more sparkle. Okay, another couple of dimensionals onto the back. And then you can pop that onto your box, and that's it. A very quick and simple project using the painted blooms, but meeting black, it really is sparkling. I do love this. So thank you very much for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.